feel like it's like a choking feeling, like they can't breathe, and so many people are living that way.
With a name next to Hollywood royalty and global activism, Angelina Jolie has always remained something of a mystery, just as fascinating. All around, she will always keep the public guessing. Recently, with advancing age to 49, Angelina has finally confirmed something many have speculated for years. So here goes the revelation that may change everything you ever knew about her. It has been anything but ordinary, from rebellious teenage years to transforming into a mother of 6, UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, and award-winning filmmaker. Every step of her life has been more or less subjected to rumors and speculations by the media and the public, from her relationships to health issues, and even the reasons why she is taking a step back from the mainstream from time to time. And even if she is always talking about certain things, there has been that one question, that one topic that has, year in and year out, hounded her. Now, whether it's the very public relations she's made or her decisions to lead a non-hesitant healthy life, remember when she got preventative surgeries because she had a high risk for cancer. Jolie has never shied from discussing what many of us wouldn't. But there's something else that people have forever suspected about her, something deeper and even a bit controversial. And now that she's 49, she's finally talking about that. A theater actress whose life story and persona have garnered immense speculation over the years, from attempts to analyze possible reasons behind her stepping away from acting in response to some of her enigmatic personal choices and often cryptic statements regarding her career and identity. Was she tired of this Hollywood machine? Or was there something going on that we just did not know about? Was she finally ready to embrace a new chapter of life? Well, the truth is, Angelina Jolie has always been more than an actress. She's a mother, a humanitarian, and, to say the least, a woman who fought personal battles few of us knew much about. And in this extremely personal, unusual interview, she stated the truth about what many people have long been suspected of. It is here that Angelina Jolie has surprised all of us and spoken of her journey within the glittering world of Hollywood, about the ordeal she had to face while trying to balance all aspects of her life, and why she took those private decisions. It isn't just a tell-all, it's a reflection on fame, family, and finding some kind of balance in life lived in the glare of incessant public attention. This candid confession sheds light on the relationship she nurtured over fame, wrangles with self-doubt, and how priorities change over time. It's a story that gives us not just a better understanding of the woman behind the camera, but also reveals the depth of strength and resilience embodied all these years. And it's not the Angelina Jolie you have ever seen, raw, honest, and yes, vulnerable. But what has she confessed to? What does it mean for her Hollywood career and after? Stay tuned, because we are about to discover the powerful revelations of Angelina in this new chapter of life, which is similar to many of our lives. Maybe you've been a fan for years, or perhaps you are curious about her story, and you would want not to miss this. Early life and background. Angelina Jolie, the quintessential Hollywood actress of her generation, was born to Hollywood royalty, considering that she is the daughter of Academy Award-winning actor Jon Voight and actress and humanitarian Marceline Bertrand. Born on June 4, 1975 in Los Angeles, California. This acting family legacy seemed to predestine her for stardom. But beneath the glamorous veneer lay a more complex and emotionally charged rearing that would play a profound role in shaping the woman and actress she would become. With parents strongly established in the film industry, Angelina Jolie was exposed to the possible advantages and challenges of life in Hollywood. Above all else, she enjoys the sterling benefit of having a dashing father, Jon Voight, a celebrated American actor who returned to Hollywood with accolades from the critics for his performances in Midnight Cowboy, 1969, and Coming Home, 1978, the latter earning him the very sought Academy Award for Best Actor. On the other hand, Voight's life was more turbulent, especially in his relations with his children. Also, Angelina's mother was a mum herself, not an actress at first, who sacrificed her entire acting career to raise her children. While Marceline Bertrand may not be as famous as Voight as an actress, the time and effort she spent working in causes for humanity with her kids are the kinds that have had deep impressions on Angelina. Bertrand was very tender and very dedicated to a higher purpose similar to her women's rights activism and her cancer research work. In many ways, the work that Jolie has done as a goodwill ambassador for UNHCR with refugees in later life reflects the values and compassion of her mother. But all was not smooth sailing, however, between Jolie and her parents. The father's unfaithfulness and subsequent separation from Bertrand left Jolie with emotional wounds that would run through most of her childhood and spill into adulthood. Family dysfunction also included an unrequited relationship between Angelina and John Voight, and years of estrangement in the equation. The physical as well as emotional presence of her mother in Angelina's life resulted in a void created because of the absence of Voight, and Bertrand became the strongest emotional support and stability for Angelina by providing her with values of resilience, independence, and empathy. Bertrand changed Jolie's life, and Angelina frequently said that her mother was her most significant role model and inspiration in her life. Her early life was often filled with emotional trauma, much of that derived from her equally troubled relationship with her father, John Voight. After Voight had abandoned the family when Angelina was a toddler, her absence would resound throughout his daughter's sense of self and stability. During interviews over the years, Jolie has spoken about how Voight's abandonment left her feeling unwanted and contributed to her rebellious behavior at the time of her teenage years. There were also feelings of inadequacy as she developed a great mistrust toward her father, especially as she saw how her mother handled the emotional aftermath of their separation. Voight's public words during all these years had often caused further emotional divorce between father and daughter, because he often spoke about Angelina in what was perceived as hurtful language. In 2002, Voight pleaded publicly for reconciliation, stating that the situation worsened for Angelina, who was said to be struggling with serious mental problems. The reaction of Jolie was to legally remove her father's last name, Voight, from her own, officially turning her into Angelina Jolie. This public aspect of their strained relationship also made it nearly impossible for the actress to recover in private, adding another complication to her journey toward self-discovery. However, despite all these difficulties, experiences with her father also led Jolie to continue motivated enough to create her path out of her family's legacy. While her father was the name of Hollywood, Angelina wanted nothing to do with it. Instead of using her father's name to scratch her way up to stardom, she sought acting with a fiercely independent spirit, as if she was hell-bent on proving that to herself and everyone else she will make it on her terms alone. In many ways, it is in the absence of her father and the pain caused by their fractured relationship that the ambition has been fueled by the intensity with which she carried roles on screen. At the same time, she inherited her mother's strength and silence as a guiding light in her life. Marceline Bertrand focused all her energy on raising Angelina and her brother James Haven with an intense sense of empathy toward the world. These skills shaped not only the professional choices that Jolie eventually made, but also the personal choices that she eventually made. Through humanitarian causes, one can see the influence of Marceline through Jolie's commitment to social issues, which she promotes through her activism work. Breakthrough and Success Story. Angelina Jolie's entry into the world of stardom was in the mid-1990s with her early film performances. She never hailed from the streets, she neither was a homeless prostitute. Born into Hollywood royalty with her father being an Oscar-winning actor, Jon Voight, she hardly knew the world. Nevertheless, she soon proved that she wanted to make it happen on her terms. In 1995, Jolie appeared in Hackers, a cyber thriller that became a cult phenomenon. Although the film did not exactly burst at the box office, during the opening it brought her to a much younger audience, and people could now see her full talents and charisma on screen. Jolie's character as a hacker computer with a rebellious persona was pretty much mirrored by her real-life persona, which would turn out to be one of her main trademarks during her early life. By the late 90s, Jolie's career took off. She took on more challenging roles, and one of her most memorable critically acclaimed performances was in HBO's Gia, 1998, in which she played supermodel Gia Karangi. Jolie's raw and emotional performance as the troubled model earned her a Golden Globe Award and established her as a serious actress with considerable depth and range. Gia, who wrestled with addiction and emotional demons on and off the screen, also reflected Jolie's rebelliousness but sealed her rising star status in Hollywood. Not until 1999, though when she performed in Girl, Interrupted, was there going to be that important career turning point. In this film, playing Lisa Rowe, a charismatic sociopath, electrifying and unsettling all in the same breath. The way she acted captured every scene, and the role of Lisa marked a defining moment in her career. Girl, Interrupted earned her mass acclaim from critics, and at the age of 24, Jolie took home the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. It both justified her talent and rocketed her to the higher echelons in the field of Hollywood actors. It was a performance that ensured she was a serious and convincing actress who could play complicated and demanding characters. After her Oscar, Jolie's career went sky high, and it was just overnight that she was everywhere. However, it happened to be during her shift from some indie pieces and strong character movies to big-budget action movies that played out the next career phase. She stepped into the world stage in 2001 with Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, the role that catapulted her into global superstardom. Playing the iconic heroine of the much-feted video game, Jolie's physicality, strength, and confidence rendered her immediately likable, a notion that has the pundits and sages shaking their heads with occasional bewilderment. Though the film received mixed reviews, Lara Croft launched Jolie to international recognition and proved she could handle leading an important blockbuster. Again, it made Jolie an action heroine of repute, the first major female action star in a male-dominated action film. After Lara Croft, Jolie continued to prove herself as a leading lady with a wide range of roles. In 2005, she starred opposite Brad Pitt in the action comedy Mr. and Mrs. Smith, a movie that not only succeeded at the box office but also represented one of the most important milestones in Jolie's public life. She and Pitt on screen have been considered to have set some sort of chemistry that was the root of some of the media speculations regarding their love life off-screen, creating probably the biggest celebrity romance of the 2000s. The movie went on to gross over $478 million at worldwide box offices, and Jolie's star power was cemented as she transitioned effortlessly from dangerous, dramatic roles to action blockbusters. Greater fame meant more intense scrutiny from the media. Her personal life became a subject of endless fascination and speculation. Painting both the Hollywood rebel and mystery of allure, Jolie topped headlines in the trade press. Her relationship with Billy Bob Thornton, and then a high-profile relationship with Brad Pitt, made her life the tabloid, scrutinizing every single area of her life, taking in children from other countries and working towards humanitarian or health-related decisions. She became the battleground of global gossip. The year 2000 and the following years were speculations over what Jolie must have been up to. Therefore, many wondered if humanitarian work was what she needed to face up to her tragic past or to get away from Hollywood. Others challenged the motivation of her health decisions, like the preventive mastectomy in 2013. Fame after fame, she surpassed her acting career. Jolie herself was no longer just a movie star. She transcended into being a cultural icon. Whatever issue she had or the choices she made entered the public domain. Rebellious phase and controversies. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Angelina Jolie became one of the most rebellious and interesting figures in Hollywood. This phase of her life attracted media attention. Every step she took became a subject to analyze and sensationalize. Such an image defined wild child choices, bold statements, and a lifestyle that starkly contrasted with the very polished personas of many other celebrities at the time. Her early public persona as Angelina Jolie did go into a more unapologetic embracing of individuality and edginess, with a portfolio full of tattoos. From the larger-than-life dragon on her arm to several others, representing her ultimate personal destiny, she managed to play out roles of defiance and rejection of Hollywood as usual. Her work in pictures such as Gia, 1998, and Girl, Interrupted, 1999, in which she played intense, dark roles, further cemented her reputation as a rebellious artist. She was no Hollywood starlet, but rather somebody interested and at times puzzling for the public and the press. In many ways, her relationships during this time were the source of sensational public interest, especially marrying the actor Billy Bob Thornton in 2000. The crazy, flashy public courtship, full of eccentric displays of affection, cemented her as Hollywood's wild child. She and her spouse wore vials of each other's blood around their necks, a testament to the intensity and strangeness of their love. That one weirdness was attention-grabbing for tabloids, and there were so many stories about their romance. Here Jolie was open with her sexuality and candid about her relationship with Thornton, a move that contrasted with what many people had initially viewed Hollywood stars as secretive or controlled over private lives. Jolie also came to be known for openness about her struggles. She spoke candidly about her history of self-destructive behaviors, her battles with mental health, and her complicated relationship with her father, actor Jon Voight, whom she had publicly fallen out with. Because of this, her willingness to speak about those difficult subjects, when such discussions in the media were much less common, made her at once a gossipmonger's dream and a figure of admiration for her candor. However, this candid nature, combined with her inability to toe the line, made many see her as troubled or unstable, a perception that clung to her for years. But that was largely around the time when Angelina Jolie was dramatically changing in public life, and it started when she embraced motherhood in earnest and humanitarian causes in greater seriousness. The birth of her first child, Maddox, whom she adopted from Cambodia in 2002, marked a turning point for Jolie. She often spoke about how motherhood changed her way of thinking, showing her the gravitas of a new purpose. The obsessed media over stories of her wild behavior started to notice this more mature side. International humanitarian involvement increased during the transition to motherhood. As a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, she visited war-torn and impoverished parts of the globe, advocating for the rights of refugees and drawing global attention to situations the Western media shunned as inconsequential. Her humanitarian activities helped change her public image. No longer just the scandalous actress with a penchant for controversy, she might now begin to be seen as someone who was using her celebrity to make good things happen. And then there was the affair with actor Brad Pitt, with whom she also starred in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 2005. The couple was a media sensation, often dubbed Brangelina, and with their ever-expanding family, including the adoption of more children from other parts of the world, they were seen as Hollywood's prototype of the modern multicultural family. Gone, at least for a while, were the headlines about Jolie's tattoos and troubled relationships. She had instead become an icon of respect for parenting and for the causes she worked so tirelessly on throughout the globe. Humanitarian work and personal growth. One of the most defining facts of Angelina Jolie's life outside Hollywood is her transformation into a global humanitarian. This transformation from film star to internationally acclaimed activist had its beginning in the early 2000s through the intensive involvement she made with humanitarian work, particularly through UNHCR, which stands for United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. After visiting devastated places such as Sierra Leone, Cambodia, and Pakistan, Jolie felt a bit of the call of personal responsibility in utilizing the same platform she had for the cause of higher good. In 2001, she was named a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, which marked the beginning of her serious endeavor towards world causes. As time passed by, Jolie's contributions to the UN picked up high momentum, which drew applause from all corners of the globe. She was known to engage directly and get first-hand experience in many refugee camps and into conflict zones. Her worldview during the travels was essentially shaped by interaction with victims of war, poverty, and human trafficking. Such influences also affected her advocacy on human rights, rights towards women, and refugees. This humanitarian focus was growing and began to mold her identity in the public eye, making the notion of a Hollywood actress disappear and blend into the truly global citizen that had emerged before their eyes. Adoption has also played a central role in the personal journey of Jolie, running parallel to her humanitarian efforts. She adopted children from various countries over the years: Maddox from Cambodia, Zahara from Ethiopia, and Pax from Vietnam. These adoptions were not just personal but also an extension of her roots to the places she had gone to and the people she had encountered while doing humanitarian work. The media and the public found her burgeoning multicultural family interesting, and her decisions sparked public discourse on international adoption, diversity, and global responsibility. Family life came to epitomize her broader humanitarian ideals. The humanitarian work, coupled with her family responsibilities, made her priorities change. She slowly receded into the challenging actors' lives and established enough time for her family and causes nearest to her heart. This change occasioned rumors regarding her relation to Hollywood, bid she was leaving it behind or only giving importance to things that mattered most to her. Whereas she kept acting and directing sporadically, it was clear that the life of Jolie was no longer shallow but more driven by advocacy, motherhood, and personal growth. Health battles and bold decisions. One of the most defining moments in the life of Angelina Jolie did not come from her shining Hollywood career, but from a very personal and bold health decision that shook the world at large. She did something incredible in 2013. She announced she had chosen to have a preventative double mastectomy. It wasn't a decision taken lightly, however, but rather the result of learning that she carried the BRCA1 gene mutation, significantly putting her at risk of developing breast and ovarian cancer. Her mother, Marceline Bertrand, had died from ovarian cancer aged 56. So Jolie knew the risks and chose to make the move for her family and herself. Jolie's step was a landmark not only for her but also for public consciousness on genetic screening and preventative health measures. Her openness to such an inner, private issue may be one of the reasons why this even sparked worldwide conversations about women's health, genetic predispositions, and the tricky decisions that many women have to make under the shadow of cancer-ridden family histories. It was a rare moment when a Hollywood icon used her influence to reduce the stigma many women go through and share their vulnerability for strength equally. 2 years later, Jolie made another major announcement. She underwent surgery to remove her ovaries and fallopian tubes to reduce the risk of ovarian cancer as much as possible. In doing so, she was conveying a message to women about control over health and being informed of their choices, which is by far not easy. These surgeries were bold not just in a physical sense, but emotionally and psychologically as well. It put Jolie at the accolade of braveness, but this nonetheless fueled more rumors about her private plight. Sooner rather than later, more people began wondering what other health issues she had been quietly dealing with. These choices had come to her when she was trying to juggle being a mother, doing humanitarian work as well as her career in Hollywood. The question arises here how she balances herself with her personal and professional life. Media and other people felt that such choices must have taken some heavy emotional price on her account. All the more so because a double mastectomy and oophorectomy are major surgical procedures with lengthy recovery periods and emotional consequences, at least for a person so very visible in the public eye. Jolie nonetheless took the matter graciously, transparently. She shared in a few interviews that these were not easy choices, but they empowered her to continue managing her health and future, giving her time to focus on her children and all their humanitarian efforts. She candidly wrote for the New York Times about her surgeries, explaining how she felt no less of a woman afterward, and that she did not equate her sense of self with her features. She described feeling empowered by the choices she made with the support of her doctors and family. Such openness from an icon of this caliber reinforces her status as an American idol in the hearts of fans and followers. Career break and rumors. The most talked about part of Angelina Jolie's life is her career break from acting. Known for rugged, high-octane roles in movies such as Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Salt, Jolie was a staple of box office cinema for many years. However, around the end of the 2010s, she suddenly retreated into the shadows, provoking an avalanche of speculations about why she did this. Maybe she just got tired of Hollywood's heavy pressure on stars. Or probably she had something more important, personal, and deeper to point her back away from her job. She selected her acting for the amount of media plays to appear at, invested less time in her movie career, and thus more and more time was devoted to humanitarian activities and to filming herself. Following the box office blockbuster status of Maleficent, 2014, she moved more profoundly to projects behind the camera. Some of the projects that she either directed or helped write were Unbroken, 2014, By the Sea, 2015, and First They Killed My Father, 2017, all of which were very personal. These reflected the evolving interest beyond mere performance, a creative pivot. The decision seemed also to be a desire for a different level of control over the kind of stories she could control. As a director, Jolie was able to gravitate toward projects with a historical and humanitarian connotation where she could continue exploring narratives of survival resilience and issues greater than her own, which said much for her values. While she succeeded in this line of engagement, however, the drastic downsizing that took place within her acting department created a critique of whether she was losing interest in the limelight, or if there was something more at play. Speculations, and more speculations regarding Jolie not being present in major acting roles ran amok. Hollywood can't afford a ceaseless mood, and when one of its celebrities retires, there is much ado. The private life of the exiled actress became something to be a source of speculation as to why this Hollywood icon was declining major roles. The further it was left to people wondering if it was indeed a case of professional or personal factors keeping them away from apparently doing something as second-nature activities. Another theory could have been that Jolie, who had hogged the headlines for her activism and humanitarian work across the globe, simply grew tired of the superficiality in Hollywood. Years spent working as a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador and then as a special envoy, her dedication to global causes kept increasing. Perhaps her increased commitment to rallying for refugees, women's rights, and victims of human trafficking made the show business world seem less important to her. Another, more sensational issue is her health. In 2013, Jolie made the dramatic choice to undergo a preventive double mastectomy after she had tested positive for BRCA1, a gene that greatly increases the risk of breast cancer. In May 2015, she also announced she had had her ovaries and fallopian tubes removed to minimize the risk of ovarian cancer. Those surgeries were life-saving but had emotional and physical costs. Many had doubts that this may have expressed itself in her performing energy and motivation. Others even proposed that these health issues, in conjunction with the burden of stardom, had brought her desire for a much quieter, less demanding life. Also unmentioned were the dramatic issues in Jolie's personal life. Her divorce from Brad Pitt in 2016 was splashed across the pages of tabloids and entertainment news for months. Legal battles for custody of their 6 children, compounded by the intense scrutiny she faced from media professionals at every turn, must have helped polish her away from the public eye. Many believe that the strain in her personal life was what made her step back from the Hollywood grind. Of course, fans also speculated that maybe Jolie was ready to move on to a new phase in her life, one where acting took a backseat to motherhood, humanitarianism, and personal growth. Jolie has always stated that her children come first, so it was clear that she wanted to be more present for them during this turbulent time in her life. The revelation, what Angelina Jolie finally had to confess. At 49, Angelina Jolie opened up candidly on one aspect of her life about which most fans and critics have debated for so long. For someone whose life spent under public scrutiny has been so predominantly a reality, Jolie walked the thin line between openness and privacy. For all those years, she spoke out about humanitarian work, health battles, and motherhood. But always brewing beneath the surface was speculation about deeper, more personal struggles. And now, here she is, finally revealing the truth long whispered by insiders, that of the emotional toll of her public life, an issue in terms of mental health, and at times, that spotty relationship with fame. For one, Angelina just recently confessed to living in a very public world that has powerfully affected her mental health over the past years. Although she has been able to portray strength, composure, and more often than not, unflappable composure in public, she has shown at private levels that she has been struggling with anxiety, self-doubt, and bouts of depression. Such a confession is important because although one of the most successful and respected women in the world, she has done what each one of us has, battled through the mental and emotional toll that comes with having to balance a high-profile career, carrying personal responsibilities, and living with public expectations. Angelina also discussed how her relationship with fame has changed with time. Initially, she was sort of seen as some kind of rebellious and unpredictable figure, even an enigma. As she became more and more famous, so did the weight of fame. Jolie admitted that sometimes she felt a loss of identity, a disconnection from who she truly was, because the image the media had constructed around her was often alien to this very person. That inner conflict led her to retreat from acting for several periods of her life, as she sought time away from the public domain to reconnect with herself and focus on her family and human work. Another vital aspect of Jolie's confession relates to the constant challenge she faced to balance between her public and private lives. Being a mother of 6, and having sometimes felt the load of protecting her children from the normal massive media attention that accompanies their family, constantly balancing a parent, a global activist, and an emerging Hollywood star leaves one feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. Her recent candor, to some extent, presents her as wanting to concentrate on emotional health, a fact many have suspected, but have been waiting to hear from her. Angelina Jolie's confession is very powerful because it humanizes her in a way most fans hadn't seen before. And for years she has been viewed as that untouchable figure symbol of strength and resilience. Her heroism in outing her hard times of battling mental illness reminds us of the fact that even the best and most admired of people are never immune to emotional attacks. In an age where discussions on mental health keep growing more mainstream, Jolie's confession could mean everything in change for seeing mental health within the shadows of fame and success. Impact on fans and media. Angelina Jolie's confession has caused a commotion for both fans and the media to take their time to reflect on her journey and even the broader scope of pressures that many public figures face. Over the years, there has been admiration for Jolie's acting ability, but also for keeping candid about health issues and other personal challenges she has faced. With this recent discovery, many are now convinced and feel they can relate to what she has gone through. This became strong evidence that not even celebrities are immune to hurdles, vulnerabilities, and public light that can weigh heavily upon them. Support and renewed admiration are blurring from different social media outlets as many are taking to Twitter and Instagram as they share their thoughts, stories, resilience, and empathy. For her fans, she reminds them that it is all right to face personal battles and that vulnerability can be a source of strength. The conversations over mental health, fame, and self-acceptance have swept the world and encouraged the rest of the people to share their stories and develop a feeling of belonging among their followers. From the media aspect, Angelina's confession contests publicized highlights on celebrities' lives and their lifestyles. The media began to question what the public was being fed, therefore, there was an increased need for sensitivity in discussing fame and its impact on celebrities. Her confession was a powerful reminder that celebrities are also human beings dealing with their frailties and vulnerabilities in private away from the glamour. Furthermore, it could even indicate other personalities who share some qualifications close to that of the challenged person. That is why this can call people's minds into remembrance that mental health and illness should be talked over, because acceptance of culture and then understanding need to be adapted. What's important to note is how far she has traveled from those rebellious youth days, misunderstood and under the microscope, to becoming the global icon known for talent, humanitarian efforts, and a strange personal narrative. Her story is characterized by significant personal and professional challenges that have molded her into the resilient figure we see today. Conclusion. Angel's most recent case shows the best in the persona because beneath it all lie layers of emotion. All the pressures that come with fame and how health can influence one's choices in life become very visible. Through these cases, sympathy is welcomed with her journey by everyone, reminding everyone that even celebrities grapple with self-doubt, mental health issues, and the quest to achieve a healthy balance in life. This honest reflection makes her human, and at the same time challenges many people who aspire to be the same in pursuit of growth. The case of Angelina Jolie is one inspiring walk into vulnerability, resilience, and navigating complexities, whether it shines through the bright light of fame or when they are quiet self-discovery moments.